Hello, people of love, and welcome back to African Bridal Experience, the podcast, where we dissect, talk about, and cause some good trouble when we have conversations about love and marriages, and we dive into weddings for a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, on this episode, we talk on a very controversial topic. My ex, my hero. Yeah, I know, don't look at me like that. That's what we're talking about. Your ex might be your hero. We'll dive into all of it, but today, I'm not talking about it by myself. I'm definitely not having that conversation by myself. I have with me the curator of a beautiful poem about moving on from exes or at least dealing with the trauma that exists. A poem titled Exponential by a goddess herself, a woman who's a spoken word poet and, of course, the founder of the Lighted Academy, an academy where you are taught to write and curate your own words into experiences and also be able to share them with the rest of the world. I have with me Tamara Dogubo. Hello there, darling.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yes, it's my pleasure, absolutely.
All
First
right.
off the bat, I know that there's a lot of things that we have to talk about, but first off, what would you say if I told you that your poem, right? I listened to it earlier. First of all, that's just going to be a little bit of a gist that most of you do not know. What if I told you that your poem has now triggered memories now and has given me PTSD, and I do not know how to proceed with the rest of this conversation?
Well, considering the fact that the point of my journey as a poet is to inspire, to give hope, hearing that, I want to apologize, but I won't. Maybe you need to. Maybe you need to come face to face with this trauma and deal with it once and for all.
Of course, throw it back to me. I'm the problem.
Definitely.
Sounds like something an ex would do. But again, just to be able to set the ground rolling, welcome, Tamara.
Thank you so much.
So we're here to talk about something very funny, very difficult for a lot of people to talk about. You know, their exes, and then now we're trying to exalt an ex as a hero.
Yeah.
Of your story, right?
Mhm.
Not just yours, of course, for everyone who's listening.
Yeah.
First question: are you single?
I am not single. I'm an album. Okay, that's cheesy, but no, I'm not
Is that
single.
in the cheesiest line I've
It's
ever heard?
so cheesy, but I'm not single.
First of all, as a man who has been accused of so many things, of using so many cheesy lines, I don't think I've ever done that. So I mean, I'm fine.
I take the crown.
You should do better. I can't say I'm disappointed because
Please,
I mean,
this-
you did this intentionally.
This does not speak to my writing prowess.
Oh, no,
I
this
just want
wasn't-
to put that out
This
there.
wasn't your writing prowess. This was your cheesy prowess and your ability to try to avoid difficult conversation.
I take
So she
it.
has said, okay, no, now let me phrase this question differently. Let me see how you avoid it. Are you currently in a romantic relationship with a living human being?
Yes, I was trying to. I was trying to find my way out of it.
Oh,
but-
I know how I asked
Yes,
the question.
I
There was
am.
no way out. It was a cage. Everywhere you turn, you couldn't find your way out. It's simple. And so now you've moved on
Yeah.
from the ex that you wrote about
Yeah.
and you performed about.
Mhm.
How much long did you think? Let me phrase it this way. How long did you think it would have taken you if you weren't cathartic enough to let out all of your emotions onto that piece?
First of all, it took me a really, really long time.
Mm.
Yes. Matter of fact, up until last year, I felt like there was still a part of me that was missing that he had.
Oh.
So it took me a very, very long time. A
Mm.
very long time.
What is your ex's name? The ex that inspired this poem. What is his name?
I think I would like to protect him in that regard.
Or wherever he is, like Liam Neeson says, I will find you. I'm joking, I won't find you. Anyways, but yes, I mean, obviously it took you a while and then
Yes.
up to last year, but you can say that you're in a better place
Definitely.
and
Absolutely.
you've adequately dealt with it.
Yes, I have.
So was the poem helpful for you? Was it something that you felt, you know what, let me put it out on paper. Let me just let it all out and then I'll feel better.
Okay, so I'm going to answer the question this way. First of all, poetry goes or deals with quite a lot of emotions.
Absolutely.
And when you heard the piece, what you heard was a totally different emotion from what was expressed when I initially wrote that poem. When I wrote the poem, I was still vengeful. I was still upset. I was still angry. So it wasn't to heal. I didn't write the poem to heal. I wrote the poem
to get
throw
it out
shots,
of your
to throw jabs at this person. It backfired anyways, but yes.
We'll talk about how it backfired, but could you tell us? You know what? In fact, I don't even want to wait. Tell us, how did it backfire? I'm interested.
When I first performed the poem, a lot of people, it resonated with quite a lot of people. People loved it. The videos, the video was posted severally, and he saw it, and then he sent me a message like, "It's nice to see that I inspired something good."
No.
And I'm like, did you listen to the poem? I said things about you, and I was so incensed. I was so upset about it. I know I cried that day because, seeing that message, seeing that he was so unbothered while I was here breaking, it hurt really, really bad.
But that is bravado. I mean, I respect to you, whoever you are. It is bravado for you to do that. It takes guts to text and say, "I'm glad I inspired something beautiful."
Yeah.
Or was it a bad breakup?
It was a bad breakup, but he wasn't a bad person. It was a bad breakup because I didn't know how to handle it. I was really, really young.
Why did he end?
He was my first love. What?
Why did he end?
First of all, we're both quite immature. This relationship happened when I was in university, so we're very, very immature. And then I wouldn't say we drifted apart. He drifted. I didn't, because I was still in school. He graduated, and then the next thing I started hearing things. Even when he'd come visit me, I'd see things I shouldn't see. So it hurt a lot because I felt like this was the bus stop. This was the husband.
I get it.
And funny story. We are of the same ethnicity, and then I remember the first time I heard his surname, like it really registered to me.
And you put it up against your first name.
I had to. No, I wasn't that cheesy. I had to call.
I think everyone has done it. You thought about it. Be honest.
Yeah.
It's fine. No judgment.
But that was not it. I had to call my parents. Of course, typical African parents, I couldn't tell them I was dating, but I had to call my parents and find out that we were not distant relations or anything, because as far as I was concerned, this was the person I wanted to be with. So it hurts really bad.
Ooh.
Really, really bad.
In the spirit of seeing things that you should not see and seeing things that you should see, meeting other people, looking at other people. For a minute, I will let you look at other things and other people besides myself and Tamara. We will take a short break to be able to keep the lights on. But when we are back from our commercial break, we'll still be back to talk about my ex, my hero, with the hit star of the exponential poem, Tamara Dogubo. My name is still David Williams. See you in a minute.
I've been to a lot of weddings, seen 1,000 videos and 1,000,000 more pictures. It's the same white dress, the same old ring, the same circle of vendors again and again. But then again, I ask, what is your true love story? How well do you know yourselves? How prepared are you to forgive the unknown? That being said, your love story needs to be told. Please tell it. Join us as we explore the uncharted territories of love, culture, and family with heartwarming tales that resonate with your own experiences. African Bridal Experience, inspiring new homes and families.
All right, then, welcome back, people of love. It is still African Bridal Experience, the podcast, and we're still talking about my ex, my hero, with the exponential poem star, Tamara Dogubo. She is also a spoken word poet and the founder of the Lighted Academy. And we have been trying to do justice to seeing your exes as your heroes. But again, we touched on some surface things before the break. We talked about her ex, her breakup, and all of the things that followed after she created that beautiful piece, as her ex said. Anyways, going now into the crux of the matter, why we're actually here, to talk about your ex as your hero. You said you dated young. Him.
Yes.
He was your first love.
Yes.
You never forget your first, obviously. So nobody
No, you
nobody will
don't.
actually blame you for taking as much time as you needed to be able to get over him.
Yeah.
Also, at the same time, you were in university. You're an impressionable age,
Yeah.
right? And so there are a lot of things that you are just seeing for the first time, being exposed to for the first time. Are there any key things that you would say, you know what? I'm grateful that I dated him. I'm grateful that we broke up. I'm grateful that I had my feelings hurt because this came and this is good and this came as a result of it.
So during the relationship, one key thing I'd say that I was most grateful for was my self-esteem. When we met, it was non-existent.
Ooh.
Really non-existent. And then he actually worked on that. He worked on me, So I remember early on in the relationship, he'd introduce me to people and I'd get so mad, like, don't introduce me to anybody. I just want to be in the shadows. Not because, and I am not the keep your relationship private person.
Absolutely.
Oh no, I am loud. But I just felt like people would wonder, what are you doing with her? She's not your level, she's not your class. Or I didn't think that. Very inadequate. So, before the relationship ended, he really, really worked on that. He really worked on that. And then afterwards, why I'm grateful, not just for meeting him, not just for dating him, but also meeting him, was after the relationship was done, after I went through the really bad heartbreak and I was so mad and everything, we eventually became friends again.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then I learned something valuable from him, from an experience with him. And that is to set boundaries for myself. Because prior to this time, I'd always expect people to just know what to do and to know how to act around me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do that, to just put the ball in other people's court and get surprised when they don't treat you the way you expect to be treated. And so I learned to set boundaries with him. Unfortunately, that came with us falling out again. But then we didn't fall out. It wasn't an angry fallout on my part.
Of course.
But I learned there and then to set boundaries, to say,
Healthy
you know
boundaries.
what? I am not for this. I am not for this. You don't get to treat me this way. I deserve better. And, just basically work on that.
Absolutely. And I get that. And that's key. I think a lot of people, and that brings me to my next question, really. What was closure like for you? How would you say closure happened for you? Were there steps? People have steps to grief, dealing with grief. And of course, a breakup can be grief in itself. So were there steps for you? Could you walk us through it?
So first of all, I'm laughing because I like to say to my friends that closure is scam. I mean, our idea of closure is having conversations with this person, especially when the heartache is still fresh.
Okay.
And it makes absolutely no sense when you think about it, really, because in that time you need space to separate, not because you're keeping a grudge, not because you're holding a grudge, but you need space to really evaluate
your life without this person?
Went wrong, what happened. So I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, I just knew instantly that I needed to pull myself together. I needed to take a step back and really, fix myself. No, I was hurting. I was hell-bent on getting the relationship back, but not acting like I wanted the relationship back. Really confusing thing. I will blame my childishness for that.
Yeah.
But as time went on, what I did was I had to ask myself very honest questions, because it's so easy to be the victim. So easy to just take all the responsibility and dump it on someone else and just say, oh, I was the one who was hurt. I did absolutely nothing wrong. There's a halo on my head. It's never like that. You're two different people. You must have hurt this other person. So ask yourself questions so you do not carry that baggage into your next relationship.
Absolutely.
Or even hurt yourself with it.
Yeah.
And then my identity, because he helped me build my self-esteem, my identity was wrapped around him. So I did not know how to be a person. For a long time, I did not know how to be a person outside of him.
Absolutely.
So my entire personality was so-so-so's girlfriend, and now, and then so-so-so's ex-girlfriend.
I see.
So I had to also like ask myself, who am I? Who do I want to be moving forward? And then closure for me, majorly, was giving him space, because I chat him up and he will respond whenever I chatted him up.
He was anticipating.
Yeah, and he'll be so aloof, and I'll be so mad. Like, did you ever care about me? All these questions that we girls ask. So I had to give myself space, right, and deal with all of the hurt, anger. Allow yourself go through all of these emotions. You're human. They exist for a reason. They're part of the healing process. We just like to just go through that really, really, fast, or not deal with it at all.
Absolutely.
And then it just goes ahead to wait for us in the future when we don't deal with it, when we suppress these emotions. So I allowed myself feel all of the hurt, allowed myself feel all of the anger, and eventually, with time, I just healed, really.
Okay, so I'm now going to touch on something that we talked about. Now, you said your current boyfriend was dating, and at the time last year, even when you had a boyfriend, you still felt attached to your ex, like your ex had some part of you, right? And now your current boyfriend had to be everything.
Yeah.
Therapist. And again, to me personally, I feel like that's unhealthy.
Very unhealthy. Matter of fact, several times I told him, like, let me talk to you as a sister.
Let's leave love.
This is not healthy. I would not advise any friend of mine to do what you're doing. Leave. Just go.
Yeah.
But the man knew what he wanted, and he was like, nope, you're stuck with me. So
okay. That's the thing. And I'm not going to go into something. And I think a lot of us carry these things and we can't help it. My ex, I think that my ex is one of the greatest things that ever happened to me.
Wow.
Not her leaving me per se, or not us, not it ending, but I became a better man when I was with her. I became a man when I was with her, because again, at the point of struggling with a lot of things, certainties about myself, and again, her leaving shattered me. But then the problem is, not just did it shatter me, it has made me in a position where I listen to something my mentor says. My mentor says, at a certain age, you shouldn't fall in love. You should stand in love.
Ooh.
So you don't hurt yourself.
Okay.
So you can start, so that you can, it's easy for you to get along, because getting up is going to be difficult if you fell in love and then, moving along.
Absolutely.
But if you're standing, when it ends, you're not walking, you're just walking past it and moving along. Mm-hmm. Do you think you fell, and do you think you're standing now? Or you think you fell before and you're falling again?
I think I am standing. And this does not mean that I do not
commit.
I have not given 100% of myself to this relationship. It is that for the first time, I am with someone and I have my sense of identity intact. It is separate from my relationship. I absolutely love and adore my partner, right? But I know who I am. I have my goals. I have my aspirations. I know what he wants to do for himself. And I encourage him to, chase your dreams, do your thing. Yeah. It doesn't have to be tied around me all the time. I mean, thank you for considering me, but be your own person. Yeah. And so I learned that from my past relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so just for us to be able to round up and end the conversation, because, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear this beautiful poem, and at the end of this, she will be performing her hit poem, Exponential. Yeah. Question to you. Final thoughts. To anybody who is where, or who may be in where you were a couple years ago, all of that hurt, all of that anger, may not be their first love, but someone who's dealing with a very difficult heartbreak, how would you advise? Or what would you say to them? Of course, there's no one size fits all, but what would you say to someone who would be where you were at the time that you were thinking about writing this poem?
I'm going to say something I heard very recently that is so simple, but really, really profound. Okay. God doesn't hate your ex just because you hate him or her. Yeah. Right? And healing and forgiveness is more for you than the other person. So I'm sick and tired of people saying be the bigger person. No, be the same person for yourself.
Absolutely.
All right. So whatever you're choosing to do, moving on, do not count the years. I know it's hard. Do not count the years, but just live in the moment for yourself.
Beautiful. Yeah. And so having said that, ladies and gentlemen, this is how we bring this conversation to a close. We have spent the past couple of minutes talking about my ex, my hero, And of course, I did not get to talk about it all by myself. I did with a beautiful, gorgeous guest, a woman of so much talent and so much abilities, and a woman who has been through the ropes when it comes to dealing with ex-boyfriends and girlfriends that may be difficult for us to deal with. Now, navigating heartbreaks are always difficult, but take it from Tamara Dogubo. Whenever it is that you heal, you do not do it to forgive the other person for yourself. You forgive the other person. You do not forgive the other person for them. You forgive the other person for yourself. It has been my absolute pleasure to have this conversation with you.
Pleasure of mine as well.
And so to all of you who are watching this, I hope that you stay tuned. And so until next time, my name is David Williams, also known as the Big Talker. Take care.
If y equals 1x plus 1, find x. I've never been good at maths, but I have people walk up to me telling me to find x since I'm still in love with them. I guess it's just been logical, but isn't it illogical? It's been years since I forgot to leave. Forgot to ask myself why I had to find x when he chose to leave, I beg. Don't tell me anything about algebra, because where was algebra when I begged to have him back? It hit hard. When it suddenly dawned on me, I was just there to scratch and itch whenever I had that heat rush. Still, I was told, if y equals 1x plus 1, find x. Haven't you heard? That hell hath no fury than a woman scorned. I began to conceive vengeful thoughts, thinking tit for tat, so I almost got tats on my tits to remind me of a grudge. I was hoping I could get peace for that from my heart. I didn't. Have you ever fallen so hard in love with someone that you find yourself at the bottom of the stairs, Humpty Dumpty, broken emotions, dead? So to those wondering, why so serious? It's because he carved my soul into a permanent smile at his every joke when he spoke. He was Joker to my Harlequin, and God save anyone who dared disrespect his queen. Me, or so I thought. It should have been my ride or die, but he chose to leave. Chose to stay alive, yet walk away from me, leaving the mad scientist in me wondering what happened to our chemistry. Wondering, what is wrong with me? Wondering, I know fine rich, still I was told. If y equals 1x plus 1, find x. It wasn't a matter of miscommunication because when we kissed, we spoke in tongues. I swear, I saw this coming, but I didn't have the balls enough to walk away first. In my defense, I do not have balls at all. Obviously, all I needed were testicles to have burnt it off and made the bridge, because when he did, I crashed hard. I didn't know how to fly, so I fell splat on that concrete sidewalk. My friends warned me, but I didn't listen. I didn't listen when they told me, even break your heart now your cup of tea, but I could have sworn there was something else in my cup of tea. Perhaps someone slipped some vodka in, because baby, I was drunk in love with him when we kissed. I was obviously tongue-tied down when we kissed. Still, I was stoned. If y equals 1x plus 1, find x. Wait a minute, don't you get it? The reason why the one ex that I loved left was because I was not the one. The kisses were empty, sex was tempting, but he was tired of pretending. My ex was done. Emotionless laughter, I became the new psychiatric case. The mask of fury fit so well I forgot about my own face. But to be fair, ex was a good guy in a wrong equation. It was my theory of how we fit so well that didn't suit his questions of to be or not to be together. I remember dealing with his flirtations with chocolate ice cream and pie. Tell me, how does 22 over 7 help a girl in love with a lone guy? Still, I was told, if y equals 1x plus 1, find x.